So, something I thought of recording now was just some quick tips for, if you're feeling you've got a lot of brain fog, you're up in your head, maybe a lot of anxiety, unnecessary rumination. But it's a feeling, right, where your energy gets too much in your head. What I like to do is just come and sit somewhere outside of the indoor environment, right? So if that's available to you, then I recommend that, find a way to put yourself in a more natural environment. That could just be going and sitting in your garden if you have access to that, driving somewhere. For me, what I'll do is I'll come down to the beach here and just sit outside and use kind of the natural environment as a way to help me let go and just process. There's a lot going on in the nervous system throughout this process, and depending on what's been happening, sometimes a lot of it's on a mental level. If we're having a lot of conversations, reading a lot, intellectualizing a lot, then a lot of energy might feel trapped up in the head. So I like to just, let my breathing drop down a bit and just start to feel into like my lower body a bit more. And you're doing this from like a place of openness, not from a place of forcing. But to be honest, I do feel sometimes really forcing my attention, because if I'm too relaxed sometimes, you just carry on thinking, right? But if I force my attention down, like down my spine, into my lower body, into my legs, into my lower abdomen, and force myself to stay there and not just keep jumping into a thought, right? Just keep my attention down there. And it really helps to settle your energy a bit, right? And then you can play with it, right? You can just release a bit and let the thoughts think. And but another one is like, think of your fist, your energy, your mind, right? Whichever word works for you. Think of your mind, your brain, your energy as like a fist, and then just experiment with what is it like to open that up a bit, right? So often we get contracted, and then what is it like to release that a bit, right? That's always such a helpful reminder for me, because I didn't even realize I'm contracting like this. And then it's just like, what if I release? And then just sit with that. And I always find nature a great kind of facilitator, to be honest. It's here to help you, right? And we're always like very clenched up in the lower body, in the gut. A lot of people talk about this, right? That we hold a lot of fear and shame and stuff in the gut, I think. So it's something I often explore. It's like, what if I just keep my attention then? It's quite uncomfortable, right? I can feel why we run from it, right? We're jumping away from it all the time. But I feel like this is where things start to go. It's a lot more of just energetic contractions releasing, not so much stories anymore. There's still stories that have energetic kind of like links, and things happening in the story can have correlated kind of sensations, but it's not so much about understanding it all. I mean, we can understand things from a curious place. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, yeah, a lot of it just becomes an endless release. That's what it feels like, but not a fear of contraction either, right? So I like to go to the gym, and it often builds up a lot of contraction in my body, and then that makes the release feel even better. Whereas if I just have this addiction to, no, I need to be in this release, blissed out state, that's an avoidance, right? So Frank Yang says this really nicely. It's about kind of the endless interpenetration of contraction and expansion. So do both, right? Contract down, and then, but any one fixation. So I think we generally tend to get fixated more in contraction, right? This is what leads to like nervous system issues and these health things. So we've just been focused so much on contraction, pushing. We get like this. But then we can get fixated in only being in openness as well. So, give yourself both, right? And maybe it will fluctuate over different periods in your life. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, this is just like a invitation to explore dropping your energy down a bit. And I find, for me, things like exercise, and obviously, you know, if you're still earlier on in the process where you can't exercise or something, watch my older videos, but I'm not always going to talk about the same thing. So if this doesn't resonate, don't worry. But yeah, if you can exercise that puts me into my body more, right? Stretching. I don't do so much stretching anymore. I'm a bit lazy with that, to be honest. I'd rather go to the gym or something. But then I use cold water, right? I'll go in the cold water, and that gets things flowing through my body a lot better, rather than just being all contracted in the head. And yeah, just understanding that things will fluctuate, right? There's some times where I just don't sleep so well because there's so much moving through the system, right? The energy's going haywire. And then I just do what I can, really. I just sometimes go meditate, sometimes get up and have something to drink, sometimes go for a shower. You know, so just don't make it into a huge problem, is my suggestion. Yeah, and just explore these things. But I love nature, just going for a walk, leaving my phone behind. Sometimes I take my phone with and post stuff, but sometimes it's nice to leave it behind and just, you know, allow yourself to really let go into the experience. And yeah, I guess that's the invitation here, is just release. And yeah, all the best.